waking up from the ground on our first day, and I already obtained a fishing slot upgrade, so hooray, I guess. Our brain cells intact, we loot the cabin behind us, and the biggest mistake I will ever make in this game is ever leaving the cabin in the first place. But for now, we are going to collect random crud that we're going to use and consume in the beginning of the episode, while the only important thing here is an axe and Pepsi Cola. See me get so confused on the first day with controls and all the user interfaces there are to mess with, like modifying, gears. What are these things? We now step out into the light and found ourselves a ruined pickup truck. And a thing you may want to learn is some vehicles can be searched inside by hopping in the vehicle and checking out the drawer in the car. Trunks and hoods can be searched as well. Which, by the way, you should always search the hood of a vehicle so you can see how much gas there is and what parts you need to even get one working. Which, yes, you can get a couple of these vehicles actually drivable. I don't know when, but we will get ourselves transportation. But for now, I had to sprint down the road to this gas station. Because one thing I was spoiled of was there's a gas can we can collect next to the pumps. So before collecting the can, I was being slow by not knowing how to enter the car already. The way you do is press F over the door you are near, not the C. I think I might have lost some brain cells before waking up at that cabin because I seem to not be able to get this into my head for a couple cars down the road. After that painful watch, I finally decided to obtain the gas can and went to the car to fill it up. While it's being filled, you will notice quickly that every action you take will take time from your day. More time used, the less daylight you have, or the higher chance the mist can appear, and you do not want to be caught with your pants down because you decide to eat a Snickers bar in the woods. Now, that explosion you heard freaked me out, but it is a planned event. A car crash has happened nearby, which means somebody needs my help. But I decided to loot around first instead, so sorry man, you just gotta hold on a while till I'm done window shopping. And by window shopping, I mean ransacking everything I can get my grubby little hands on. There are a couple cars that are searchable and a lot of ground loot, but as you can see, I only have 2 rows of usable slots. So I'm really limited on what I can even pick up, which is a loot hoarder's worst nightmare, because for a while you cannot just take every item you find. There's the dreaded item management. I know, some real scary stuff, but what's even scarier is that I still didn't know how to enter cars again. Now past that kerfuffle, we find ourselves in, I would assume, a garage with a little office space tucked at the very end, which is possibly filled with little goodies, and little goodies I did in fact find. Whoever was here last was packing some serious heat because I found ammunition from shotgun shells to revolver ammo. And yes, I did take some of that ammo, even though for the time being, it is totally useless for me. After I took some time to manage my items, we went out back to the collection of junk, picking up just a handful of scrap metal. Do I know how useful it is yet? No! And it's heavy as hell, but metal is metal in my eyes. After taking a refreshing gulp of my only can of precious Pepsi, I had made enough room to acquire the knife into my arsenal. With the combat knife in hand, we set out to our next destination, which is the area where the wreck occurred. I wonder if that guy's still alive. Only one way to find out. Now, on our way to this still alive man, I'll say this again. It's early access, and I know some aren't faithful to say the least, but so far, this has actual work put into it. Now, we're here, and look, he's actually alive. That's crazy. I have no clue how he's completely fine, but you know what? I won't question. Saving someone gives you a little bit of dialogue, and I have no clue, but I got something for saving him, I guess? I didn't really pay any. Now, trading is a fun thing to do in any game, but I didn't understand how it worked in this yet, so I just tried to rob him of his goods, but it failed for obvious reasons. We'll just have to come back to this at some other point. Although, I was able to loot his own vehicle, retrieving a few goods, and a brand new axe. So in the end, I still robbed him, and I am still happy. After looting this man's survival gear and life savings, I thought it was a good idea to cut across the woods to get to the hunting range. But when I appeared out of the tree lines, I found myself in what looks to be a whole outpost, or an abandoned highway. Either way worked, but it was most definitely filled with people. Armed people. And I almost risked the notion of trying to snag an item without them catching me. Quickly and quietly, moving around the outskirts of the base to get a good idea of how guarded this place really is. I was getting the temptations to try and snag something or anything, but finally listened to reason, seeing how many people there were in my view, and was gonna nope the hell out of them. I wasn't gonna risk my life over something that could be when I have no definite proof of there being anything nearby that I can even hit. So, I left. Someday we'll be able to come back with actual firepower and the ability to go through this base. But for now, we're just gonna run away. It's not worth it. Some sore ankles. I came across Grandma's old house, which she had some unsavory visitors that didn't at all jump scare me. Though luckily these, whatever the hell these things are, burns in the sunlight, so they got a vampire style of weakness. Clearly I decided to loot somewhere else for the time being. Found the neighbor's house that came with a warm welcome for me, seeing how the doors were wide open. Even with that, I went through the rooms, clearing them out of any dangers out of pure caution. Even though we can respawn, I'll treat this as a life or death run through. This is real life, people. I was timid and anxious, thinking these things can just be right around the corner, just ready to bite my throat out, or even be found in the dreaded showers. I took a minor break to eat some beef stew in a can because we must manage our food and water, but also our fatigue and weight, which have drastic effects on our stamina, but that should be an obvious fact. What's not so obvious is doing something like eating or drinking also takes a couple minutes out of your day, risking of the mist catching us off guard. Never want to do anything without protection. Speed run of me ransacking this poor, probably dead person's home, going through many conflicted emotions, wanting to know what I should even take or leave, and if I even have any idea what I am looking for to begin with. But of course, none of this crossed my mind until the worst seems to happen. Though luckily we were in the safety of this home, we are now trapped in the mist. Monsters have surrounded the house, and there is only one door that can be closed, and it's, funnily enough, the bathroom. I don't know how good their hearing or sight is, but I took no chances and crouch walked around avoiding windows if it looks like they can notice me. I decided to take a peek outside, and yes, there they are, shambling around outside, and who knows how strong they actually are when in the mist itself. I'm just a baby boy right now trying to find his way, and for the next hour, my time belonged to our newly acquainted bathroom. Daytime is here! Hurrah! We survived the mist encounter by hiding like a little bit, but now it's time to get lost for the next 45 minutes because I'm bad at maps, and I used all my pencils, and I'm dumb. And the only way to know where you actually are on the map without having to use your brain is with pencils. That is why pencils are actually important to find. We took a nice long sip of my bottled water to then look at a map thinking I actually know what the hell I'm doing. You think someone like me knows how to get to the store without a GPS? The answer is no. No, I cannot. But what you can do that don't require a GPS is hitting that like button. Yeah, baby! 10 likes equals 1 spoonful of mayo. So if you want to see me rack up some disgusting things to do to myself and get recommended good content, you better smack that like button, alright? Thank you. Past the blatant self-promo, my journey wasn't going so well, to say the least. So I'm lost with a sprained ankle and no food with wolves. Lots of wolves around every corner. It's not fun, and that is just the start. Got lucky in finding a junkyard, but that luck really doesn't last that long. There isn't a lot to search, there wasn't a lot of food, there wasn't a lot of water, or even any at all, and wolves are just howling very, very close by, and I still have a sprained ankle. So, you should know and put 2 and 2 together. This is about to spell bad news really fast. And bad luck indeed, because after I started to go back along my journey, a wolf sprang into action, fighting my Pokeballs off. Somehow, I was able to fend it off with my knife, but that turned this journey from bad to worse really fast. And I was not gonna stick around to waste time skinning the wolf, so I took my lucky butt down the road. With about half an hour into the journey, I made it back to civilization, in the sense that it is actual housing and things to loot. It was getting late, and I thought to loot and keep the house safe, but strangely enough, there is not a single piece of furniture or trash on the ground. I find the complete vacancy of this household to be ever so more terrifying than just being outside at night, if not more. Though at the same time, there are walls surrounding me, so that is more protection than just being in a tree or behind a rock. So I'll give it a 2 out of 10. Day 1 is finally over, and there is no way I'm going outside in the pitch black darkness with like 16% flashlight charge. So, if you enjoyed this, subscribe and get the game. It is a good price and it's a loads of fun. The next video is me fighting against the massive Wither Storm. See ya!